Hey, Sandcar BS crew, Conrad coming at you with a bit of a new concept. How about lost and found? Let's do a little bit of treasure hunting. What springs this on is we happen to have a couple of members on our Sandcar BS Facebook group that are looking for their sandcars that were built in the 80s or the 90s by their families, right? And they want to get reunited with them. So it's reunited and it feels so good. Sorry, thanks. I'll be here all night. The karaoke is terrible. But anyhow, let me tell you a little bit about me first real quick so you can understand why I'm building this particular episode and why we may do these in the future as well. I grew up in Orange County, California, so I attended the Pomona Automotive Swap Meet as well as the Long Beach High Performance Swap Meet, our local Volkswagen swap meets we had at the Orange County Fairgrounds, where the Sand Sports Super Show is held. Oh, I'm sorry, the Side-by-Side Super Show is held. And then also the Big Three down in San Diego. So growing up in the vintage Volkswagen world, hot rods, street rods, custom V-twins, lead sleds, that whole automotive world, right? That's it. As well as going to the sand dunes, whether that be Glamis, Dumont, or Pismo. Never really ventured out past those, Oceano for the, I guess they changed the name. I haven't been there in a while. So with that being said, I'm a treasure hunter of sorts, looking for maybe an empty gauge package, 23 window bus, maybe a 32 Ford 5-window body that we could flip, right? Build up and flip. Lincoln Zephyr makes a bitchin' lead sled. Anyhow, we are a Sandcar channel. That is my main focus these days. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. This is all I pretty much want to do. But I still have that treasure hunter mentality. So when a couple of our members said, hey, I want to be reunited with my car that we had back in the day, does anybody recognize it? I thought, hey, why don't we put this on YouTube, because we have a nationwide, worldwide audience, and hopefully one of you will recognize the chassis or the car, know where it's at, and reach out to us and let us know, and we'll get them in contact with the owners of those cars and see if we can't get them back with the family. So without further ado, let's get my big head out of the way. Oh, by the way, this is boardmanville.com. boardmanvilletradingpost.com live cam. And let's pull these pictures over. Treasure hunting. All right, we've got this one. These are the three pictures we have of his car, and then this picture is for reference. This is not the lost car. Okay, enough of that. All right, so here's where we're at. What do we see? So right off the bat, I want to show you something. I'm thinking that this is a de-engineering or bug pack performance two-seat. Well, actually, this was probably a 2+2 mid-engine chassis just based on the wheelbase. And here's why I think so. So this car is not missing. This is just your standard fare two-seat mid-engine car that was offered by like Johnny Speed and Chrome, Kimco, anybody that had that D bug pack distributorship sold these cars. There was a lot of them sold. They always come with a beam front end. They never had A-arms from the factory. So if you see this chassis design with A-arms, somebody added that on. The bottom rails are always straight. And then the upper rail is straight until it gets to about here. And it bends out and down to give you room for your elbow and your shoulders. And then it goes back in. The lacing always goes down, up, down. Your B-pillar shock mount is always a loop like this. The A-pillar is always laid way back. I don't fit in these cars. My head is like right here. I'm 6'1", and anyhow. So these are the things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at chassis. When I'm out at the hill and I'm watching people drive by, and this is the things that I see that I'm picking up on that tells me who built what. And if I don't recognize a chassis, I'll go over and I'll ask somebody, hey, who built that car? And it's usually a one-off. You know, somebody's a fabricator and they built something super bitchin'. But anything that was built by the manufacturers, I can pretty much recognize straight off the bat. So you can see I'm a Sandcar geek, without a doubt. Now, let's jump over to Corbin's car and take a look. If I look at this one, rail across the bottom is straight. Upper bar bends out at the elbow, goes back in, lacing down, up, down. Now, this probably being a 2+2, which these chassis were offered in two wheelbases. One was 105 or 108. And then I think 118, off the top of my head. I mean, I'd have to look at the advertisements from back in the day. But the 2+2 is going to be 2 adults in the front, 2 kids in the back. So it wasn't very big. Then we've got the A-pillar is laid back very far. Again, you can kind of see, you get an idea there. The B-pillar shock mounts are loops. Beam front end on it. So this tells me right away that it's a D engineering car. Now, the things that are different about this car that will make it easily identifiable to somebody in the know that might happen to have seen this car is in this photo and then the other ones as well. So the first big tell to me is you'd have 2 adults, 2 kids, and mid-engine. Somebody modified this chassis and they turned it into a rear engine car. So they put the fuel tank behind the front seat driver and passenger, and then they mounted the transmission here and poked the Corvair out the back. That's another telltale sign as well that it's got a Corvair engine in it. Most people were in the 80s and 90s were running Volkswagens. They stopped running Corvairs by that time. So we got a Corvair in it. Also, this has some other lacing in it. This here and this here, somebody somebody welded these in as well. These are not stock from the factory. Let me move this down. Let's blow this up. At the time, it had a JT aluminum beam, which is pretty standard fare. Everybody was running these back in the day. On the shock mount, you can see right here, there's these little moons that are welded in. These are just decoration and they have holes on them. That is not factory. That somebody, pardon me, somebody did that. This did have a soft top on it. And it could either be sitting as a chassis or a roller or still complete, who knows. But it had aluminum wheels on it with sand tires at one time. And then it looks like as well as a desert set of tires with the white wagon wheel type spokes on it. And then let's jump over here and blow this up. Again, right at the A-pillar, there's some tubes welded in right here. These are not factory. This is going to be an aftermarket deal or, fabricator deal that somebody put in on those. And here's your engine poking out the back. Some red outerwears on it. This has got the aluminum wheel package on it. Looks like a 3-spoke, probably a Grant steering wheel. But otherwise, this car is going to be, in my opinion, easily identifiable if you happen to come across it. Now, I'm the type of guy, I scour the classified ads, right? Whether that's the Facebook Marketplace or what is it? Gosh, back in the day, we used to have the Cycle Trader, right? That was the only place to find sand cars unless you went to the swap meets. And then we've got Craigslist and OfferUp, and I'm always looking for cars. So if I happen to see this one, I would definitely reach out to him and let him know. But if you happen to recognize it, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'll get you back in contact with him. And hopefully we can reunite that car with its original family. So I did want to mention to you as well, head over to sandcarbysell.com, scroll down a little ways, and you can pick yourself up some merch. How about a bitchin' hat? These are the mesh type in the back, which are perfect for the summer. Get yourself a logo t-shirt and represent. Show your support for sandcarbysell.com. Otherwise, that's all I got. I will say thank you for watching. See you in the dunes.